Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic Last Known Classics. This is episode number 81. Yeah, 81 and 2275. First up we have Marvel Masterworks Incredible Hulk, Volume 15, collecting issues 234, 244, and annuals 8 and 9. Yep. That is literally what this book here. Roger Stern is the main writer here. Now, he does pretty much all the issues except for 245. It's the only he does not do. It's done by Stephen Grant. And he does the number 8 with John Byrne. And number 9 is done by Doug Moak. Stephen Grant does 243 with Roger Stern, and then he does 245 himself. Sal Buscema does pretty much all the artwork in here except for one issue, 244. That's my Carmen Fantino. He does the issue. He also does the annual, and Steve Ditko does the annual for this book. Yep. This book covers time period of April 1979 and concludes in February 1980. Which means, yeah, we're entering the 80s with this one. Yep. You're thinking, okay, with Avengers, I'll get to what covers that one. So, first up we have is 234. This issue is noteworthy for Wendell Vaughn, who prior to this was simply known as Marvel Man. With this issue in particular, 234, he changed his name to Quasar. Yep, this is the first issue he's called Quasar. Yep. Yeah, and we also have a guest appearance here by, well, Trixie Starr, who actually was preparing the book for ever since the previous issue, 233. Yeah, if you know who Trixie Starr is Egghead's niece. Yep. And she basically became a recurring character in this book. Do not know why, and then she last appeared in Avengers 230. Yeah, the only issue she skips in this book here, she's pretty much almost all the issues of the book except for issues 238, 239, 241, 242, 244, and 246. And that's it. Yep. So, yeah, basically 233, she joined the cast, and here she's here just a regular supporting character. Quasar himself was only here for one issue, and then pretty much right after this issue, he next appeared in this issue of Marvel 2-in-1. Yeah, Egghead's here, I believe, as a flashback character. Yeah, only in flashback. Yeah, basically the references to previous stuff here. Now, here is basically Quasar. This is Quillen Vaughn when he's in his costume here. Yes, we call himself Quasar. Yep. Doc Samson's here as well. And Thunderbolt Ross is basically kind of worried about Betty, or his daughter Betty. And I'm also put basically just a lot of really good stuff here. Just Hulk doing things. In issue 235, takes on Aaron Stack the Machine Man. Yes. A character who actually previously appeared in the issue of his own book, issue number 9. Now, of course, also, the Corporation, which were a character group who appeared in Deadly Hands and Kung Fu, a Bill Mantle creation. They were actually appearing in this book as recurring villains. Yeah, they basically came in here with 231 and they leave with 237. And they pop up like a few more times after this, and that was it for them. They next popped up at Jack of Hearts number 1, issue of Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. volume 3, 2 issues of Cage, and 1 issue of Heroes for Hire number 3. Yep, and then pretty much after the Corporation wraps up in 237, Curtis Jackson himself next appears in the pages of The Thing in his, I believe, his penultimate issue of his whole series. Yeah. Next came the annual, and number 8, which has basically Hulk fighting supposed to fight Alpha, mostly but he fights Vindicator in a flashback. It's mostly him versus Sasquatch. It's a flashback story. That's mostly what it is. 238 basically is when Betty and Glenn get divorced. We also have the They Who Will Power group, which of course with 241 was their last official appearance. Yeah, they came back this book, excuse me. With issue 238, and they're here at 241, and they're done. Yeah, they're done. In comics. Yeah, But that's what it is known for. It's basically just Glenn Taub and Betty Ross getting divorced. That's literally what this book is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. In 239, first appearance Aaron Maxwell and Captain Thomas Bowen. Basically, some scientist guy who doesn't really pay much. He's here about 258 ish. Yeah, two relatively minor characters. That's most of exactly what we have here. Thomas Brown is a military officer. Yeah, it's just, yeah, let's just keep having characters appear here for random reasons. Clay Quartermain has been a recurring character in this book for quite a while at this point. Yeah, he came back to the book with issue like 192. He was here for quite a while. He's here up until about 243. Then he disappeared for several years. Yeah, that's probably again 315. Not sure why. But it's clear for Clay Quartermain. It's like his next book is in like just a few issues later. Yeah, and also after They Will Power stuff, after they basically expanded with 241, of course we have to deal with a character named Goldbug. Yes, Goldbug. Who was appearing in this book since 238, and he was basically like a villain in this book up until 243. And with 243 he's done. Yeah, and the thing with They Will Power, two of them get killed off in 241, and Tyrannus, who was a long-time Hulk villain, he basically comes in, and I believe he's like the main villain for the remaining issues of this that's reprinted here. Well, until about 243. Yeah. By 243, he's out of the book. Mm-hmm. Because he dies. Yep. And then move on to the annual, which is basically Hulk versus Gotham Game Club. Yeah. Which is good artwork, too. It's Doug Mock annual. It's weird Hulk does this, but that's what happens here. Yeah, and then, of course, basically, he deals with the Living Colossus and the Andreas Vault. Andreas Vault last appeared back in Astonishing Tales. Along with the Living Colossus, who was destroyed here, but he pops up again in a later book. Yeah, the Living Colossus, if you don't know what the heck this thing is, is a giant statue that comes to life. And he appears for one issue. He appears in 244. Then next appears in Wonder Man number 2. Yep. Yeah, and that's pretty much it here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, okay, let's have the Living Colossus, who was appearing in this book. And he just basically yeah, I'm not sure why. It's like, that's the thing with the Living Colossus. He actually took over from, you see, he previously appeared in the pages of Astonishing Tales, which was a book that, when it started, the first 20 issues, Kazar had a feature in the book. The first 8 issues had Man-Thing as a backup feature, and after issue 8, the book feature was dropped. He got his own book afterwards. Kazar was book into issue 20, then the Living Colossus took over issue 21 to 24. Yeah. Yeah, which basically of 24, he appeared in the next Hulk, we got destroyed. And from 25 to pretty much 33, with the exception of one issue, Deathlock is the final character in the book. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But this book is really good. I thoroughly enjoy this. I'm going to give this book here a 9.5 out of 10. Yep. Next up, we have... Now, that also is the last Incredible Hulk Masterworks that's on here. As far as I can tell. There might be more, I'm not sure. But that's the last one. So, we're next going to discuss, basically, Masterworks Avengers Volume 19. Well, this one's got a few more books left to go. There are some issues I'm going to skip over in here. Skip over issues 95, 96, 200, and I believe the opening issue in here. Yes, and 189. Why am I skipping over these issues? Now, the book does contain from 189 to 202. I'm skipping 189 because I talked about that in the Hawkeye Epic Collection. For 195, 196, Debut of the Taskmaster, and of course, basically, I talk about those two issues in, I think it was Ant-Man / Giant Man Epic Collection Volume 2, and 200 was actually Miss Marvel Epic Collection Volume 2. Now, your writer for the issues are Dave Michelinie, who does 189 and 181 200. Stephen Grant does 189, 180, 190. He does 189 with Dave Michelinie. Dave 189's got four writers in this one issue. Dave Michelinie, Roger Stern, Mark Greenwald, and Stephen Grant. The Roger Stern takes over a couple issues solo. One issue solo-wise, 190 with Stephen Grant. Then, of course, basically, Roger comes back with 201. Stephen Grant does 190 with Roger Stern. And Jim Shooter does 200, 201. 200 is also done by George Perez, Bob Lane, like 5 different creators on here. John Byrne is the artist from 189 to 191. 94, 96, and 98 to 202 is George Perez. Arvil Jones, 182. Sal Buscema, 183. 187 is Carmen Fantino. This book covers time period of November 1979, concludes in December 1980. We're going to start with issue 190. Yes, because basically we're skipping our 89 because that was in the Hawkeye Epic Collection. So basically, at the end of the previous issue, Pete and Peter Garrett threatened to disband the Avengers. So yeah, they're put on trial, and of course this monster shows up here. Yeah, they're put on trial by a closed committee group. And of course there's a monster about, and yeah. Basically, Hayden Peter Garrick is here, spitting a lot of bullcrap. The Shield agents fill out bullcrap because it's jealous of the Avengers' success. Yeah, basically, Falcon calls a lot of bullcrap on him. Yeah, basically on a thread, who you calling a threat, man? If for Cap interfering in that little caper, I'd be 6 feet under, and Shield will be infiltrated by double agents that happened in Captain America book. Kept all the work. And then this turkey got ticked off because Cap didn't give him the secret password. You gonna listen to him? You dumb. Yeah. It's all about character assassination. Yeah, this goes on for quite a while. And then, of course, basically, then they get called that they have to deal with a monster. Of course, they have to reschedule the actual hearing. That does it. And he says, listen, Garrick, the Avengers have never failed to answer a call for help. You aren't about to... There is business to finish here, Captain. We only have your word. There is a mess. Mr. Garrick, sir, there seems to be some guy that their claim's been substantiated. Proof enough, you little Hitler? Come on, Avengers. Wait a minute, I'm thinking... Cap, Peter here seems to think the Avengers are needed anymore. Maybe the little pest is right. Maybe they're Faust. What case? Yeah. It's maybe the government fight. Fine, go ahead. And of course, Daredevil was there to help out with the monster. Yep. And then the Grey Gargoyle shows up. Yep, and they have to deal with him for the next issue. Yep. Have to deal with the Gargoyle, which is a really cool thing, along with Iron Man Thor villain. And then pretty much, basically, Hamburger just walks away, not seeing it for a while. And then we have 192, where we have Iron Man and Wonder Man take on this thing. Oh yeah, the whole trial thing basically just does. And of course, Scarlet Witch leaves 192. Yeah, leaves the team. And, oh yeah, by the way, in the trial, they asked for the reason why Hawkeye was not part of Henry Picard's chosen lineup. Because he deemed him a security risk. Because he dared break into the Avengers Mansion. Something they had back in the 60s. Yeah. So, after with the manga for a couple issues, with Wonder Man. And then 194, they deal with Jocasta. Of course, one member joins the roster. And Falcon leaves, probably because he can't stand Henry Peter Garrick. Jocasta last appeared in issue 189. She, of course, appears regularly from this point forward. Yeah, then pretty much basically we kind of get behind the scenes debut of Taskmaster. And after that two-parter, which basically deals with the guest appearance by Scott Lang, Ant-Man, 195, 196. And then 197, basically, Carol Danvers leaves the team. Well, because as a prelude to basically her getting, or basically we found out that she's freaking pregnant. Yes. The stuff in here with Scott Lang guest starring here too. We had the first appearance of Dr. Earl Cohen, who's here for about a few issues. He's here for this three-parter, which actually is a pretty good set of issues. Nick Fury here soon. And then we have two straight issues where the Avengers fight Red, ruling the image of Godzilla. Yes, as a matter of fact, his previous appearance was actually an issue of Godzilla. Yep. And then came the awfulness that was issue 200, but moving on from that one. Because I discussed already, thanks to. And of course, the issue has been talked about to death because of how really bad the issue is. I have heard Jim Shooter himself basically has apologized for the issue. But that's that. In 201, Thor and Hank Pym lead the team. There is also a backup feature in the book, which I thought was really cool for 201. 201 is when they were Jarvis' first name was Irwin, and the first appearance of his mom. Yeah, it's basically Avengers Support Crew issue, which I thought was really cool. The opening story itself is mostly just some stuff that was Iron Man. Yeah, because what happened, it's basically 201 is mostly about an aftermath issue that continues into 202. Yeah, which of course deals with Return of Ultron. Yep, who last appeared at the end of, who basically had made his return in the previous issue. And if you're really curious though, for Ultron himself, well, he last appeared prior to this very issue back in Avengers 171. That was back in 1978. This was just 2 years later. But yeah, this book is awesome. The only really bad issue of this whole book is 200. But everything else in the book is really cool. I love every single issue except for that 200. Yes. And with that, basically, that's another series got past 200, which means, okay, so I got Avengers past 200. Like, is there any major series left to go at Marvel at this point where it's at 200 plus issues that, well, I have fully reviewed yet? Only a couple of them. The only ones I can think of where I have reviewed, basically, where I haven't got 200 yet, there's a few. There is Spectacular Spider-Man. There is Deadpool, obviously. And Wolverine. And I think that's it. Yeah. But since Avengers has finally passed this run, now we have basically overall about 4 more of these Marvel Masterworks left for Avengers, and then we have 2 absolute editions for Vision, which I'll get that probably at the start of next month. But yeah, I'm gonna give this epic collection here a 9 out of 10. We'll give it a 10 because I really enjoy the issues. You know, take a point off for good reason, because the awfulness that is 200, which basically, yeah, no one claims responsibility for that one, except for Jim Shooter. He apologized for it. Yep, but yeah, this is a lot of fun reviewing this stuff here. Okay, so that's episode review. Next episode is going to be Case Closed. And I might not get time to do the Kaizen episode, the most recent episode I had today for tomorrow. Yeah, so I'll probably get a chance to do 2 more videos tonight, and that'll be pretty much it. Of course, next video obviously will be Case Closed, and the next will be Comic Corner. Next Comic Corner will be X-Men Deathlock. You'll find out about those soon. Okay, next video. Bye.